My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California.
Issue with one device or more than one. If you're not sure, say, I don't know.
One device Wi-Fi router.
To help you, please give a 4-digit security code or say, help me find that.
Help me find that.
Your security code can be found on your statement under your account number or in your order confirmation email. You can also go to the account tab within the My Spectrum app to view your security code. I'll wait while you look for it. When you're ready, say continue or say, I can't find it. When you're ready, say continue or press 1 or say, I can't find it or press 2.
I can't find it.
No problem. By the way, with Spectrum's Voice ID, you won't need to remember a security code, and you can bypass these steps on future calls. By enrolling in Spectrum's Voice ID, you'll be able to authenticate yourself faster and enhance your security. If you'd like to enroll with a representative, say yes. Let me transfer you to a customer service representative. One moment, please.
Thank you for calling Spectrum. My name is Savannah. Can I please have your first and last name?
Hi, Savannah. This is Erica Spencer.
All right, thank you so much, Erica. How can I help you today?
I'm calling because I have been experiencing for the past, now it's been, yesterday, so that was the 24th, it's been over about 36 hours, and I do not have the ability to use my Wi-Fi. My internet is fully paid for, and I don't have internet service, and I don't understand why.
I can take a look here on your account and at the equipment to see what may be going on so that we can see who your connection back. Do you want to verify your address for me, please?
So I'm saying you're going to check my equipment, is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, well I did do troubleshooting and I reset it. My equipment is stating that it's online, but my Wi-Fi is not online. It goes in and out, and I've been documenting that because I'm steadily losing money and I can't do my job while I don't have the internet that I fully paid for already. Just so that you know that. The property address, I'm at 1806 North Alvarado Street, apartment number 6. P.O.C. Amplified Plane Activity Entities Monitoring and so Spectrum.
Okay, give me just a moment here while I take a look at the equipment. And is it currently out right now? Like you're not able to get connected at the moment?
That's correct. I've been taking screenshots every time I try to do my work online, and the internet is continuously failing. So you guys sent an email yesterday stating that there was going to be a 15-minute interruption between 12 a.m. and 6 a.m. And I had failure all day yesterday of my internet, and I don't even understand why there's an internet failure. It's not like I have cable or something. It's internet, and I've got I've got wiring inside of my apartment, and the independent router. So, and my bill is paid. But I'm calling also, and the automated line says there's no outage noted in the system in my area either. So I'm really perplexed, especially when I have timely paid my bill. And this is literally an intrusion with regard to very important work that I have to do, and it's centered on the use of internet.
Okay. So you said you have your own router? You don't have a Spectrum router?
No, I picked it up when I went to your venue and picked up the equipment, yeah.
Okay, so you have a Spectrum router?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And whenever you try to get connected to something using the internet, it says your internet failed?
It says checking the quality of your internet, and then it says internet not connected. And the first issue that it revealed for the first time yesterday, and that was the only time, the first time that I noticed that my internet was suddenly starting to fail for some inexplicable reason. It initially said password incorrect, which my password is correctly entered, and I saw an automatic reconnect. So that was that was an interesting message as well. And then immediately it went out, and then it did not show that message as the explanation for internet failure. It just continued to display no internet connection. It just says internet not connected.
Okay. And are you only having the automated system reboot the equipment, or have you been unplugging it as well?
Yes, that's how I reset it. I just unplug it altogether and let it reset.
Okay. And when you plug it back in, are you plugging them both in, or are you doing one at a time?
You mean plugging them both in at the same time, or plugging them in at one at a time?
Like, are you plugging them in together, or do you plug one in, wait for it to come online, and then plug the other one in?
I plug them both in. And I see on the light, the blue light, where it says that it's online, the equipment is working properly, yet I don't have Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I see the modem and router both online as well. And does it happen on all of your devices when you try to access the internet? You're connected but have no internet access?
It's happening on my phone. And oops, I'm not connected on my Wi-Fi. Let me look. Right now on my iPad or my tablet, it's showing connected. And on my cell phone, it's currently showing connected. On my television, it's connected. It is repeatedly showing connected and going back to disconnected. And this is creating a serious burden with my ability to do my work. Just want to make sure I want to make sure that I'm clear on that, because that is getting into my ability to do what I need to do. And I've paid for my services. So do you have any explanation while you're asking questions? I've been troubleshooting. What would be a reasonable basis for the failure of Wi-Fi, which is routed in there's a coaxial cable that's plugged up in here. Like, why would the Wi-Fi be failing?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's why I'm asking questions. I'm taking a look at the equipment. It doesn't really, so far, at least on the router now as well. I only see 2 instances when the router's offline, and it seems like it looks like kind of maybe where you've rebooted it, or whenever the system has rebooted it. Other than that, it looks like your equipment has been on the entire time. It's just for some reason you're not getting the access to the internet.
No, it has not been on the. Oh, you mean, okay, so you're not contradicting what I'm saying. I'm saying, no, it hasn't been on, but you're saying even though it's not working for me, you're saying that there's no disconnection showing on your route, so it should be working, right? Is what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't see where, like, because when the equipment goes offline, it shows in our system the times that it goes offline. The modem, it's showing that it's been online the entire time. And then with the router, there's only 2 instances where I see that it's gone offline, and they kind of seem like it is where a reboot has happened on the router, and not where like it's just offline, if that makes sense.
Sure. And I have a question. This notification, these emails that you're sending about service or maintenance that you're going to conduct, why or how would that affect my internet inside of my apartment when I have the connection through the walls? It's not reliable. How does that interrupt my Wi-Fi service, if at all?
Because that connection in your home still has to connect to the pole outside, because that's where the internet is coming from. And when they have to do work outside of the home, it's a possibility that it could affect the internet in your home.
Right, it's a possibility. Got it. Okay, I just want to make sure I specify that. Nonetheless, this email that was sent on this was sent on May 5th, 2024 at 6:20 in the morning. I am experiencing internet failure as of yesterday, May 5th, 2024, and today is the day that you were supposedly going to do maintenance. And that was only supposed to result in a 15-minute interruption, and that's if it were to actually interrupt. But I've experienced exceptional interruption all day yesterday, and I continue to suffer that interruption to date, which is creating a substantial obstacle for my purposes, and that's why I pay for my internet. So I wanted to find out, first of all, who can I talk to, because I need my money back for the service that I have not been able to access after I've paid my bill, and I always pay my bill on time. I understand what you're saying, that there's no, I guess you don't see from your end any interruption. There's nothing else that I can do other than plug in your equipment. I don't touch it. The Spectrum technician, he came in and he installed it. He did the drilling on my wall. I have not touched the way that it's set up. And my inability to access internet, all I can do is call you guys and find out, and you're saying that you don't have an explanation as to why my internet would be failing, but yet I'm suffering after I've paid you, so I've done my part, and you've received my money, but yet I'm not getting my internet services, which I need in order to do what I have to do on a day-to-day basis. And that was all day yesterday, and it's continuing today. Is there anybody that I can talk to about that?
About getting a credit or
yes, yes,
on the account?
Yes,
that?
a credit, yes.
So, I mean, I can get you a credit. I don't know if it's a credit that you would be happy with. It's just the amount that I'm able to provide. I can get you a $10 credit for that, but if if that's not, I may have to reach out.
What is the exact amount of the credit that you're able to give? What's the exact amount? $10. $10. Okay, and that's fine. I'll take your credit, but I want to know what is your suggestion? What does someone do? I'm paying you for services, and I cannot get access to my internet. So, pray tell, what?
Okay. So what I know you've been rebooting it, but I definitely want to start with rebooting the equipment, because then that allows me to see how everything is reconnecting on my end, like that modem, the router, even your devices. It allows me to be able to see all of that by doing the reboot.
Are you saying you need me to do a reboot right now, or what?
If that's okay with you.
Sure.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead and unplug them both, but I'll let you know when to plug them back in.
And doing the reboot is going to, just to be clear, because I've done a reboot. I did a reboot about an hour ago, and you're saying you can see those from your end, right?
Yeah.
And so what are you going to gain from me doing that again?
So that I'm able to see how everything is connecting.
Oh. All right. All right. I just had to make sure that I called. And it's not about $10. Obviously, that's not a lot of money, but it's a principal matter with what it is that I have to do for work at this point, and it creates a substantial, humongous obstacle for me, and an inability to do very important work, and the ability to access internet is based on that. And so when I'm paying Spectrum for my services, as you can understand, principally speaking. My inability to access internet is creating, essentially, it's an intolerable interruption, and especially when you don't have even any explanation for it, and there's nothing else that I can do on my end when my equipment is in impeccable condition. I don't even touch it. So it's doing the same thing that it does every day, but yet I don't have services inexplicably, and my bill is timely paid. I don't know if you can understand where I'm coming from with that. Oh, okay. I plugged them both back in. The modem is, I don't know which one's the modem.
The modem is going to be that square box.
Square box. So, wait, I'm sorry, plug that one in or don't plug that one in?
We're going to plug that one in and we'll leave the round one.
Okay, plugging it in now.
Come back online fully. It should have 2 solid blue lights on it. Once we're seeing that, and I'm seeing on my end as well that it's fully online, I'll let you know when to plug in that router.
Okay, first of all, Spectrum is engaged in the criminal elements of monitoring. This is audible activity creation, and all of the entity is engaging in what is surveillance, and this conversation on the phone is public information right now. The entity is monitoring to it, and this is literally Spectrum engaging in the element of audible activity creation. I want to be clear, the purpose of this phone call, first of all, Spectrum is a documented third-party group stalker, not only here in LA, in the specific environment, in the engineered light, group stalking specifically adjacent to building, on more than one occasion, parked outside when I was inside of my apartment, I documented that, and also group stalking by engaging in what is relevant positioning as I'm leaving out of my office after 5 p.m. and building 1808 is covered in engineered light.
Are you seeing 2 solid blue lights?
2 solid blue lights, yes.
Okay, perfect.
The entity is monitoring right now.
Go ahead and plug in the router, please.
The entity is engaged in group stalking right now, and Spectrum is engaged in the criminal elements of monitoring, and I want to be clear, the entity is engaged in what is federal stalking. Federal stalking is also serving the purpose of obstructing the ability to access the internet, doing so by interruption of internet. There is no failure. Understand, the entity that is monitoring, there will be no suffering any malfunction. They are engaged in hovering stalking conduct on an ongoing basis. The interruption of internet will be attributed to the third party.
Once your router has a solid blue light on the front, that means it's back online as well.
In addition to what is the, in the same way, when you're on the venue of the internet, this is how you're going to prosecute, this is how you're going to get the entirety of an entity. When you're on a website, that website is considered to be the venue. So you're on Google and you're experiencing what is monitoring conduct on the venue of the internet while you're subject to this criminal system, that is documenting that third party on that venue of the internet. That's literally how you're going to treat it. In the same way, while you're at the physical address of Google, which is somewhere in California, I believe, and you are subject to the P.O.C, the light source is over your head, and you're on the property where Google's located, you're going to document them in that way as well. The entity is monitoring you online, and the entity is monitoring you in relevant positions, the system of group stalking. So I want to make sure that you clear, and that is relevant because you're dealing with what is a highly resourceful, corrupt government who is monitoring you through and by everything and everywhere, including on the internet and with communication devices. The interruption of internet is a criminal means of obstructing justice. And so you have a Spectrum saying, oh, well, there's...
I'm seeing that router back online on my end. And I see your device is starting to reconnect.
You're looking at what is Spectrum stating that there's no explanation on their end as to why the internet is failing. It is resulting in what is criminal, the inability to access internet while you just so happen to be engaged in what is...
Since we did that reboot, if you would like to go ahead and see if anything has changed in that chance after this reboot, just let me know if you see see any difference.
I'm sorry, any difference in what?
Your devices, I'm taking a look at just a few more things, but while I'm doing that, do you want to take a look if anything has changed on your devices with the internet?
Oh, well, while I'm on the phone with you now, it's in operation. What I've been experiencing is ongoing interruption. So yesterday it was prolonged for hours. It was off, coming back on for a second and then turning back off. And I made sure that I documented that because of the harm that I'm suffering while I cannot access internet. But I want to be clear, it's on now while I'm on the phone with you. And that's not to say that it's not going to continue to be interrupted, for which you don't even have an explanation as to why, right? Right?
I mean, from everything I'm seeing, I don't even see that the equipment is going offline. I do see on your devices where the devices are having issues. I'm still looking. I do see where your devices are having some issues with the connection. I just don't see that the equipment is going offline. So let me go.
And what sort of issues are you observing with the equipment?
With the equipment, nothing. With your devices, I see where they're having issues with the connection.
You can see my cell phone that's not connecting?
Yes.
That's good to know. Yeah, so it's connected right now. The inability to stay connected, that's the problem. And that's just as effective as just not having connection at all. So if it's just going to disconnect 5 minutes after I get off the phone with you, therein lies the same problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to look at a few more things here because if
okay, so this is audible activity creation, and what's underway is while I'm documenting the pattern of conduct that the state is engaging in, there is no malfunction that is in any way hindering the entity's ability to keep me under surveillance online and via internet. This is interruption of the internet connection while you just so happen to be engaged in what is publishing evidence online about criminal conduct that the state is engaging in. Spectrum is a third-party group stalker. This is speaking to what is an ongoing admission of the absence of any failure or interruption of service in the area. It is not a coincidence. It is within the P.O.C. Spectrum documented engaged in group stalking at 231 South Euclid Avenue. This is the same venue where you saw on video the state group stalking. That was the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. That was the Ontario Fire Department and the American Medical Response. There were group stalking, and Spectrum is documented engaging in the P.O.C. at that venue as well, using the television and the inability to, coming in relevant position and engaging in what are so-called repairs to the cable. All they're doing is interrupting internet. So you're talking about the ability to interrupt signals. What am I doing now? I'm calling Spectrum because I'm going to prosecute them. This is a means of engaging in the same exact POC. And what I'm saying is that it's not a genuine failure. And what I'm telling you about monitoring, these are actually not genuine failures. It's literally monitoring by the entity. Okay, you don't have to actually create or put in a phone number to create the Google account. This is a superficial means of blocking your ability to get to that step. That's monitoring. It's not a genuine failure.
Okay, and then where is your router located in your home? Is it like just on top of a desk out?
This is a third party that's monitoring, by the way. This is all monitoring. It is on the kitchen counter. It's in the, your technician came. I don't know if they take notes, but it's on the counter in my kitchen.
Okay. Is it, and this hasn't been an issue at all until recently, until yesterday?
That's correct. Yesterday, May 5th, 2024.
Okay.
And that happens to be the same day that I received an email from you guys about an anticipated service, which might have resulted in interruption of service for only 15 minutes. However, I experienced interruption all day long. And I'm continuously experiencing that today, which again, that's creating what is a burden with my inability to do what it is that I need to do as a matter of what is my work. And that causes a substantial harm. It does. So I continue to suffer that while I've paid my bill to you guys, and there's nothing wrong with the equipment. I don't even touch it. So it's sitting in the same place where the guy installed it. All the cords are the same. You're telling me that you're not observing. There's nothing wrong with my phone. There's nothing wrong with my tablet. There's nothing wrong with my brand new laptop. There's nothing wrong with my television.
Okay. So I know this is an issue that just started happening yesterday. But based off everything that I'm seeing, all the everything I looked at on the modem, the router, and just based off what I see with the devices, or how they're having an issue keeping a connection, I'm pretty confident that it's the location of your router that may be causing the devices to kind of lose their connection, get the connection back randomly, that kind of thing, because of things of like interference. You said it's on your kitchen counter, so it's around all your other appliances.
No.
And that causes interference with the router.
No, that's I understand what you're stating, and you're making.
Can make those devices lose the connection or stay connected no internet.
All right. Now, I understand what you're saying. You're making the best hypothesis from where you're located, but actually your technician came and observed my apartment and the structure inside of the apartment. This is the location, and he specifically told me that this is the only location. Well, not the only location. I guess I could put it on the floor or a table, I guess, adjacent to the wall. But this is the best location where I put it. I didn't even want to put it where it is right now. But this is not being blocked by the appliances. And by the way, I've had this since August of 2023. So the problem started yesterday. So I just want to be clear. Not only did your technician come in and install it and specifically advise me to put it where it's located because of the fact that this is the best location, and because I'm limited based on the structure of the walls, like where the outlet is to plug in for internet, it's also something that it's been perfectly fine since August of 2023 when I first got internet.
Okay. Which it is very possible that it, hasn't caused any type of issues. I mean, I've seen it personally where equipment.
And what you're listening to is, well, it wasn't failing before, but it can start failing now, and it'll continue to fail.
A little bit down the road, or in this case, almost a year down the road, is whenever it starts having problems.
Okay, so like I said, this is the monitoring conduct. Under all circumstances, Spectrum is a third party. They're monitoring right now, and they've been documented engaged in group stalking as well. Under the same light source that remained over my hotel room, where they was setting that light source, the Spectrum is heavily documented engaging in the sector fence monitoring me inside of my hotel room. And Spectrum is also engaged in federal stalking on the venue of the internet. All I'm doing is calling them, and I'm documenting the fact that they are the companies I've paid my bill, and I should be able to get my services. A $10 payment is in no way relevant or going to compensate for what is a threat to your life that you're suffering, while the entity is engaging in this criminal system. I mean, stalking by helicopter. This is the government, as though they're going to raid your apartment, come in and kidnap you again, as they've already engaged in a pattern of doing so. And then you have the company telling you, oh, well, it's just that, while they're monitoring also. I just want to make sure that you understand the harms that the target individual is subject to. All right, and interruption of internet connection is an intolerable level. Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Did you have a question?
No, you just haven't said anything after I said anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm here. So, is there any resolution? It looks like there's not, right?
At the moment, like I was saying before, I'm pretty confident if you're able to move the equipment a little farther from all the other appliances, electronics, that would help with your devices from losing that connection.
Yeah, it's not surrounded by any other devices, and it is at the farthest corner away from everything. There's nothing over here on this counter. It's isolated, so. Like I said, I don't have anything else on the counter over here.
Okay, and like what I was going to say too as well is if moving the equipment's not possible, you can try swapping out the router, but from my end, there's no explanation for the interruption, right? And no
noted outages in the area, correct?
No, there's no outage because your equipment's currently online.
Okay. And I figured that. I wanted to make sure that I could confirm that because I understand that that's the case. And all right, I guess that's all I have to say. I just want to make sure that I do document. I did go out of my way and call you guys and let you know that I'm suffering that level of interruption, and you guys have received my full payment for the month, and I do find that to be inequitable. In addition to my inability to do what is very important work on a day-to-day basis, which is time sensitive, all right, under the circumstances, but I'm just going to make sure that I at least document it by calling you guys. This is a recorded line, right?
It is.
Oh, okay. All right, can I ask who I'm speaking with?
Savannah.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Savannah. I guess if there's nothing else that you can do.
Not at the moment. Not that I'm seeing. I could get a new router shipped out to you if you would like. You could try that out. That could help as well.
To be honest with you, it sounds to me like it's the type of problem that has the ability to just arrive whenever, and it's inexplicable and does not actually have a genuine explanation, and can something, even if I were to go to the labor of going through, which I can't move the location of the outlets for the internet in this apartment, but even if I did reposition, it literally sounds as though you're stating, well, it could, again, no matter where I move it, this appears to be the type of situation, the type of problem that is capable of repeating itself no matter what I do, since there's no substantial explanation for it. So I do appreciate what you're telling me, though. I appreciate it. I know you've done all that you can do, Savannah.
Okay, and as far as not being able to move your equipment, we could, I mean, it's all up to you. There's a few options. I mean, I told you about swapping out the router. If you would like to, I could reach out to my leadership, see if they have anything that may be happening, or see if maybe we could get a technician out there. If they determine that moving the equipment is the best option, they could definitely do that.
Sending out another third-party group stalker who's going to enter into my private space to engage in the P.O.C. with the state is an ongoing threat and highly undesirable and not resolving the issue. This is monitoring, not a genuine issue with regard to internet failure. Yeah, sure, I understand that. You know what, I will call back, and if I'm continuously experiencing this, I may just have to explore my options with another internet company. So I'll just see what happens. Like I said, my equipment is still in brand new condition. It's not surrounded by appliances. I don't have any other, electronics over in the living room kitchen area. It's only here. And this is where your technician suggested that I put it. I didn't even want to put it here. Besides that, I will, before I have somebody that needs to come into my apartment and go through all of that hassle again, I'll just see what happens. Okay, I just wanted to confirm that it is in fact no outage in the area, and it's not a result of my equipment. It's certainly not any failure of my phones or anything like that. And so I just wanted to hear what you were going to, maybe you were able to tell me about something I did not know about. Maybe there was some ongoing issue that you did not send me an email about, and maybe that was why, but that's not the case here, and I just wanted to confirm that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing any issues with the equipment itself. I mean, like you stated, the equipment seems to be in pretty good shape. I mean, sometimes equipment goes out. That's why I recommended swapping the router. It doesn't really, the time that you've had the equipment really doesn't change anything, because you could have the equipment for like 10 years and it'd still be fine, or you could have it for a month and it needs to be swapped out. But that's why I recommended swapping the router.
Okay, I just want to be clear. The entity, you can literally, you maintain control of the circumstances and give any explanation. Okay, that's the reality of what's going on.
But I guess if you don't have any other questions for me, thank you so much for calling, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too. Bye, Savannah. All right, that's P.O.C. Spectrum is engaging in what is the element of audible activity. And this is the significance of maintaining a specific environment, which you see also inside of my apartment. This is what you're looking at while the entity is group stalking incompetent state coming by on the grounds of what is I'm painting the vacant unit, and you're simultaneously group stalking with the state. It is criminal conduct. And this is understanding, this is getting to all the ways in which a government is maintaining surveillance regardless of what the third parties call themselves doing. It's happening at the DMV. It's happening at the Human Services Department, the county office where they're going to get their food stamps. It's happening at the mall. It's happening at Walmart. It's happening at Starbucks. Okay? And it's happening at an apartment complex where they're literally coming onto the grounds to engage in the state's criminal system. This system is underway on the internet. And you have the cowards that are fearful of the evidence that I continue to capture. Evidence that I don't even need. But it is so potent, I continue to get it anyway. Okay? Because it is an unmistakable slam dunk with regard to a federal prosecution of a government for a crime that has never been exposed before, not to the degree where you can literally establish it and prove it with body of evidence, not just talking about what you saw and what you know, because you prove a case by what you can prove. All right, and in court, it's based on what you can prove. So it's 2:28 p.m. That's Spectrum engaging in the criminal elements monitoring. The people of the state are monitoring me while the audible activity element is satisfied by Spectrum. That is the prosecution of the state. Not only that, Spectrum is a third-party group stalker, documented criminal presence at the same venue where they're standing in what's supposedly the same sunlight where the sun is setting. It's amber-colored engineer light covering the side of building 1808. Group stalking as I'm walking out of my office after 5 p.m. I documented that. Documented then group stalking at 2301 South Euclid Avenue, which I spoke about today. While the lights is remaining over me, and Clarissa Abundis is engaging in what is abusing her children, group stalking in concert with them while the light source is hovering over my head, which at the same time is not going to be at 231 South Euclid Avenue, which is where the entity was maintaining this light source directly over my head in an entirely different region at Economy Inn, where Spectrum is documented group stalking me at that venue as well, inside of my private space, which is a hotel room. And that documented act of terrorism is captured on more than one occasion. Spectrum is indeed a group stalker. All right, the corporate headquarters, I believe they're Charter Communications. All right, and you're going to prosecute the people of the state in all the ways in which a corrupt government is keeping you under surveillance. So anyway, it's currently 2:29 p.m. It is May 6, 2024. This is a documentation. The entity is capable of, when you are monitoring, and also the crime of monitoring is not fully understood. It's not even exposed. Okay, and all I'm doing, I'm letting you know the reality is that the entity will come up and they can give you anything. They can tell you anything. Oh, it's because of this, and you just need to get a new one of that. And you can even do that. And the entity that's monitoring you can cease to engage and monitor you in that regard if they choose to allow that to be the reason for it not happening anymore. But you can do those suggested steps and it continues to happen. It's not about the so-called malfunction. There is no malfunction. Let me be clear. The entity is monitoring. There's no malfunction that's stopping my ability to operate the internet genuinely, and there's no malfunction that would hinder the entity that's obsessively keeping you under surveillance on the internet. That's not genuinely any sort of error or malfunctioning that's occurring. And because of that, you are able to give any explanation that you want. That was a bunch of BS, excuse my French. That was nothing but audible activity. They can say, oh, it's because your microwave is it's too hot and it's causing a disconnect in the cord. Make it sound real technical. You can say whatever you want. I don't speak internet connection, nor do I need to. I'm going to let you know the entity that is monitoring you through the electricity, LADWP. They can come up with any sort of explanation with regard to why you're not able to use one of the appliances for what they make it up as they go. They can make up whatever. They are in that field. They're in the ability to. They are literally controlling. And also, let me be clear. Don't forget about the major aspect. This is demonic. Don't forget that. So you're dealing with the demonic, and then you are dealing with it veiled behind what you're supposed to assume and what you're not connecting. And I understand that, but you're actually dealing with the demonic. And secondly, you're dealing with the demonic behind the guise of what's supposed to be provided the natural explanations for what you would ordinarily assign. Oh, it's just not working because I need to plug it in. Let me tell you something. You can plug it in and it still will not work. Okay, this is the reality of that system. When you're looking at the sunrise and sunset at one address, I am letting you know about everything that you're actually dealing with. Okay, and it is beyond the natural explanations that are given to you by those, by the way, who are exercising control over everything that's in your apartment, the electricity, the water pressure, the water temperature, the gas, if you have it, the central air, stuff like that that's inside of your apartment. All of these are means of surrounding with audible activity. And because I'm using the internet, this is a means, especially when I'm capturing, let me be clear, the entity is very, very hostile. You see LAPD group stalking by helicopter, failing at suggesting under any circumstances that the pattern of conduct is exclusive to this minion, Tiffany Sherez, because she's crossing paths. All right, you're not foolish enough to limit it to that, because if that was the case, the light source and the state stalking by helicopter would never be documented at the San Bernardino Superior Court. I would never capture the light source and the entity group stalking by the same demon-possessed agency that engaged in kidnapping. Starbucks likes to engage in threatening you, not just by the criminal presence of the state. That is the demon-possessed that were group stalking in concert with the people walking into the local Starbucks where the light source is remaining all day long, which is speaking to never is that going to be the sun over the Alvarado Gardens. And you also know that that's not the sun, because that wouldn't be the sun. It's impossible that the sun is remaining here all day. How the heck is there a sun anywhere over the state of Florida? Okay, so Florida is 3 hours ahead of us. If it's rising here through my window at 7 o'clock, it's 10 o'clock in Florida. Florida is not looking at this light source that's hovering outside of my living room window and remaining for the duration of the day outside of the opposite side of the same apartment. No, it's not. That's impossible. And you do not have to be a rocket scientist to know that. Nor do you need to be a rocket scientist to know that that's not sunlight appearing both above and on the ground, creating multiple shadows, while the sun's not even anywhere in a position to create such light activity. It's demonic. Okay, so I just want to make sure I document that. The entity is engaging with its ongoing interruption of internet. That's third-party group stalker Spectrum, who's not only engaged in audible activity creation, they are engaging in what is, they are documented engaging in what is obstruction of justice. And why? Because they are my internet provider. The targeted individual does not have to go through the onerous task of trying to figure out what demon or which pack of demons, which actor is it that's responsible, that they're supposed to identify when they're documenting. No, the ordinary targeted individual doesn't have to do that. You don't have to go through all that. And this is something that is, again, you're talking about group stalking. The entity is using everyone everywhere. That's why the environment is there. That's unreasonable, and it is also impossible. You can't document every single last person. It's impossible. All right, that's the malice of that system, by the way, and that is, again, the unprecedented criminality of a demon-possessed entity that is keeping you under surveillance in such a manner. And that's exactly what you're doing. That's why you have a light source. That's why you have impossible light activity over Starbucks at 706 West Hall Boulevard. All right, it's never going to be over Alvarado Gardens with that documented presence. The two are not happening at the same time. If you want to argue one of them is a natural environment, the two are not happening at the same time. But even both of them are impossible to occur, and everyone can agree on that. This is common sense. Rudimentary understandings of the operation of the natural environment. Okay, it is currently, again, 2:33 p.m. This is P.O.C. The entity, the significance of interrupting internet. What's the entity accomplishing? Making it 2 hours to upload videos as opposed to what would be maybe 30 minutes, and that's still with internet, because if my internet was working as fast as it should be, if I weren't documenting the criminal conduct of a corrupt government, oh, it would be uploading like zip, 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 zip. All right, but even when you're talking about what is slowing it down, and it's uploading maybe 4 videos that are maybe about 1.5 gigs to 2 gigs as far as size, gigabytes, 35-40 minutes. But when you are interrupting and stopping, it brings it back up to 2 hours, and then because it goes back to just your phone. This is this is the entity. I'm going to, whether it takes me 5 hours, I got more than 5 hours in a day, I'm going to document it. It's been 5 years documenting the prosecution. This was a prosecution and exposure, long time coming. All right. Either way, it's going to get done. I'm documenting and I'm teaching you about how a government is actually engaging in what is conduct that you are not privy to. And also opening your mind, it's not actually a malfunction. The entity is monitoring. Understand what monitoring and all the ways in which monitoring is occurring right in front of you. All right? And under all circumstances, the government has no business placing you under surveillance and engaging in federal stalking, and everybody that's facilitating that. If you happen to be the internet service provider inside of the targeted individuals, okay, you're engaged in federal stalking by virtue of that, first of all. Second of all, you're going to be the one that's documented where the target individual's life is put on, is threatened because they cannot publish the evidence while the government is engaging and waging an ongoing threat. They could burst into your doors and you disappear out of nowhere any moment, any moment. And that's not an exaggeration. The entity has engaged in that criminal activity. I've documented it, okay? Engaging in what is arriving while the third-party group stalkers welcome them, criminal summoning, making up information, all right, all of the above. Feigning having a warrant in a non-existent case where it was started with an illegal arrest while you were group stalking me. This is that same government. And you can't publish the internet, you can't publish your evidence on the internet to let anybody out there know where you're at and what you're subject to. It's an ongoing emergency. It's an intolerable level of a threat to your life. And Spectrum and any other third party, they can defend themselves in court with regard to why they think they shouldn't be held liable. So I'm going to let you know right now how that's going to work. You're going to understand how a system works and all the intricate resources that the government is utilizing, monitoring you in concert with them. They're all going to find their part in what is a federal prosecution. It is currently 2:38 p.m. and this is P.O.C.